Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today at Juanette's Crafting Corner. I may have mentioned recently that my next journal is going to be probably French inspired, very feminine, lots of women. And I have these images that I have scanned. They're in my shop, but these are the original ones. And so I thought I would use them and make some journaling cards. So I'm just going to do a rough fussy cut around, I think these two women. Oh, I love her though too. Let's see if I can get her cut out. It's kind of hard because they're layered over each other, so we'll see. But I'm just going to do a rough fussy cut around them. So I hope everyone is doing great. We had Easter yesterday, and I may have told you we were at my daughter's home and we had fun. And then after dinner, we played a card game. And it's just fun to spend time with them. A lot of fun. They are fun people to be around. My son-in-law, my daughter, of course, my grandkids. And I took Fiona with me. She's so funny. So you guys know I have said that my daughter has the same breed of dog. We have the same breed. And actually, that's how I ended up getting Fiona. Is my daughter had gotten Finn first. They are soft-coated Wheaten Terriers. And my daughter had gotten Finn first, and they're hypoallergenic. They don't shed, and they don't have any hair, and their disposition is very sweet. Although my girl is she can be a little wild. And so, yeah, so yesterday before we went, I said to Fiona, I said, hey, Fiona, you want to go see Finn? Now, see, all of a sudden, she is laying underneath my craft desk. And as soon as I said his name, she popped right up and she's like, are we going to go see Finn? Sometimes I call him Finnegan. So yeah, she immediately like popped up like, oh, are we going? Are we going somewhere? No, sorry, dear. Anyway, so we took Fiona with us and they played, they had fun. Let's see, I think I'm going to round that off there. Yeah, I think we've got some images here. I've got a couple of young girls here. I think I'm going to hold off on using them right now. I'm just going to trim this off and put it off to the side. And then let's see, I brought in some of my Florentine paper and I thought, well, let's layer some of that up. I don't know, it may be a little bit too busy. Let's see here. No. Now maybe that's not too bad. I kind of like that. So then we would make a journaling card. And so I would cut it down and it would be a pretty good sized journaling card. So let me bring in a paper trimmer and cut this down. So yeah, and then today I have been extremely busy. I was on the computer most of the day finalizing things for my trip to Scotland. I think let's make this 6 inches here. We'll see. So I was finalizing that. And yeah, I kind of like that. And then let's pull in this blue. And then I had seen, I thought this was pretty. That may be, again, I may have to put something in the background. I think it goes like this. I'm going to have to layer it so that this shows, but then it feels like it almost competes. Let me see. That. No, I don't think that. Let's try this. Oh, does the green work? No, I originally thought this. Let's just cut some of this. About like that. So yes, I was on the computer all day long finishing flights for that trip. And I ended up, because it is such a distance to fly from the United States to there, and the tour I was going on was only a week long. And I'm thinking, I'm not flying that whole distance for only a week. So, oh, that looks pretty. I like that. So I thought, well, I've got to add on another trip, another tour. And so I ended up booking a cruise, a 2-week cruise. And that also is Scotland, Denmark, and Norway. I've never been to those countries. So yeah, I think I'm going to cut this down a little bit. I may layer it with book page or something like that. Let's make this smaller. So yeah, so that was fun and actually good to kind of get some of those things done because they had been on my mind. I had already booked and paid for the one trip to Scotland. It's a Outlander tour, and we're going to be visiting all the places that the series Outlander was filmed. So I think I can use some of this writing in there. So yeah, because that had already been booked and paid for, I thought I've got to get this other part booked and paid for. I think I'm going to use my paper trimmer. I can't use the tear ruler here because there's not enough room, and so I don't want part of it to be torn and the other part to not be torn. So I'm going to have to just trim this here. Oops. And then just cut some of this off here. So yeah, that's going to be a fun trip. The only thing that I don't like is I have to go alone. It is extremely difficult to find other women that, number one, are willing to travel, or number two, have the money to travel, or number three, don't want to leave their husbands. So unfortunately, I have to go alone, but I've done a lot of traveling in my lifetime alone, and I always meet people and always make friends, but it's just more fun if you have somebody with you. So oh well, I'm not going to not go places just because I don't have people that can go with me. So that didn't tear very well. I'm just going to cut this across and see if I can get it to work. Nope, it's not. That's not working. Let me see if I can make this even. If I hold it down, that would help. There we go. All right, so we've got a little bit of those pieces. And what I could also do is, oops, oh my heavens, you guys. Oh, heavens to Betsy. I'm going to tear some of this off. Fussy tear around it. See if we can use some of it. So yeah, it's a dilemma to find somebody who can travel and is healthy enough to travel. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And then the other thing is, so Rachel's having her classes in Australia. At the same time, I had booked this trip to Scotland. Otherwise, you'd be finding me going to Australia. Now, what do I want to put? I've got to have something in the background there. Maybe let me pull out some French book page and see if maybe layering some of that will work. That might work. Yeah, let's just see. See if a little book page back here. I kind of like that up there. Let me tear this edge so they're all kind of torn. Put that up there and then have that like that. You can still see the Florentine paper in the background. Let's just tear that right like that. Okay, I like that. Let's glue that down. And then the other thing we need to do is back this paper because otherwise it's going to be too thin. So, you see how this glue stick starts getting kind of a pale purple? That heat does that. The heat here in Arizona does that to it. So it kind of disappears that purple. So you're not able to see it as well where you're gluing it. Now it feels like that needs to go like that. Okay, and then let's glue down Our Lady. Now my air conditioner is definitely kicked on. The heat is now upon us here in Arizona. I'm going to bring that down just ever so slightly. Okay. Okay, and then we will back that, but now let's go to this next one and see what we can do. Do we also want to put some French book page? I do like that look, but I'll pull out a different one. Let's see what I have. Sorry, I'm off camera. That almost looks like it says memories there. Yeah, let's use this. And what I'm going to do is, instead of using my tear ruler, I'm just going to fussy tear the edge here. Thank you to those that gave me advice on my still life project on the washi tape. There was one person, and I don't have the comments here right in front of me, but one person said definitely that I need to differentiate the drawers, and she suggested some ribbon on the outside of the drawers, and I thought that was a great idea, so I will look at that. Most people thought the tulle was a good idea, but I'm not so sure. I think it just hides it too much. Hides those colors too much. I could almost put that whole piece there and still see quite a bit of that Florentine paper there. The nice thing about adding all these layers is it then helps strengthen your paper. Yeah, I think I'm going to just do all of that. Because Florentine paper is not that strong of a paper. I mean, it doesn't like rip, but it's kind of thin. And for a journaling card, you want it to be a little bit thicker. And then we will also sew around these. Let's add this lady here. The cruise that I'm taking, it goes from Edinburgh to, all through Scotland, and then to Denmark, and then to Norway, and it ends in Norway. So I had to book a flight to come back to Scotland for the Outlander tour. So, and then I've got a couple of days before the Outlander tour. Let's see, what do I want to do? Do I want to do something different? I want something different. What could I do? I don't know what, I can't think of what to put different behind this. So let's just do the same. I like the look of it, so. I like that. So yeah, so I had to book a flight to come back to Scotland before the Outlander tour starts. Well, those are pictures of religious pictures up there. Those won't work. Oh, here we go. Maybe something like this. Yeah, let's find some of this. These are some things that are in my shop right now. They're French ledger pages. And yeah, let's put one of these in the background. 1862. Kind of tear it down a little bit to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, I think this will work. Let's see, but I definitely, like I said, I want to still show a fair amount of the Florentine paper. So I want to kind of have this as a torn edge at the top. Yeah, I like that 1862 showing. Probably, let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, let's get this glued down. Yeah, I'm surprised I don't have a journal in the works right now. I've just been working on that still life project, and I think I'm thinking about doing something a little bit different. I have always made the journal first and then sewn in the pages and added all of the ephemera. Well, when I did the last prayer journal, it wasn't a real big gator mouth, but it was a little bit of one, and I don't like that at all. And so I'm thinking about doing something different in like, see, how do I want this? About like that. Making all of my pages with the ephemera in them and then building the journal. So yeah, okay, so those are those. Now let's go back to adding paper onto the back and to really strengthen that up. And I did have some here. Yes, here it is. And this is just some plain old coffee dyed paper. And I don't think I'm going to use a glue stick. The reason being is glue stick warps your paper, but this Beacon's 3-in-1 glue does not. I love that green there. Let's see, do I have some over here? Oh, there's a little bit of green too. Yeah, I'm going to do it to where that green shows. And let's just add some glue here. Oh, you know what show I've been watching? So I finished the one, oh gosh, what was the one that's kind of a prequel to Yellowstone? What was it, 1923. So I finished that, and it was good, but why do they have to have such, like, there was one part of it that was so bizarre that it was just like, I don't know, I kind of call it evil because it's like, why do you have to show that? But now I'm watching the prequel to it, and I think it's called 1883, and they aren't having any of that weirdness in it, and I'm enjoying that much better. Now my doorbell went off. Let me glue this down and see who's at the door. I'm going to put the camera on hold. So it was Amazon delivery person delivering some mailers for me to mail things to you guys from my Etsy store. I recently had somebody ask me, she had ordered the ledger packet, 6 different ledgers, Italian ledgers, and she had asked me about the shipping charge, because what she said was she had looked, and for a flat box mailer from the United States Post Office was, a specific amount of money. And so what Etsy was charging was more. And the reason is the flat rate box that she had, mentioned in her message to me was smaller than what the ledger pack was, meaning what I would have to do is fold up the ledgers to get them to fit into that box. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm going to order something like that, I don't want it to be folded. I remember one time I ordered something from a person, and it was like a ledger or something like that. It was not from my friend Rachel. Rachel packages her stuff really nicely. It was from somebody else, somebody who I won't order from anymore. But it came all folded up with all these creases in it. And I was like, well, if I want creases in something, I want to put my own creases in there. I want it to be, you know, in pristine condition. So what I had told this lady in my message to her is that when I pack, especially something like that, well, anything, if you order any papers from me, none of them are folded, unless they're a folio and they came like that folded. But I would never take a page like this to ship you and fold it and crease it and mail it like that. I'm just not going to do that. So the mailers that I have, especially for those Italian ledger packs, because those ledger pages are quite tall, the mailers have to be big enough to accommodate those ledger pages. And so I explained to her that that's why the price was more than what she thought it should be. Now, to be honest, the price was still, once I packaged it up, it was still less than what she paid. And of course, I always refund people the difference. If they order something and let's just give a for instance, if Etsy charges you $15 to ship it, but it actually only cost me $10 to ship it, I will refund you the difference. I feel that's the honest thing to do. And I have even, like, a couple of times people have ordered things. Which one of these do I want to do? I recently had one in which I think it was this one where it looked different. I'm going to try this edge here. But anyway, I recently, oh yeah, I like that. So I recently even had a lady order something, and Etsy thought I was going to send it in 2 different packages, but I got to put it in one package, and I think I refunded her something like $18. You know, that's a lot of money. And if somebody, I've even done refunds of $2 because it's like, well, it didn't cost me that much. I also want to do, I think what I'm going to do is a border punch on this side and make this one a little bit different. And I think I'm going to go this on this side. Let's just see what this looks like. Sorry for the loud noise, and I have to stand up. Ooh. That was a little difficult. Now I'm getting the swing. Oh shoot, I'm sorry you guys. I bumped the camera. I got that and got that. Oh, I love the way that looks. That looks really pretty like that. Yeah, I like that. That looks nice. Okay, what else could we add to these journaling cards? Oh, I need to, oh shoot. I thought I had got that edge, but I guess I didn't. The whole edge. Let's try this and see if that gets it. Yeah, there we go. And then I need to kind of round this corner or do something there. Oh, here we go. I had lost it. Let's do that. Okay. I'm liking those. They're really nice big journaling cards. Yes. All right. Now, what else? I think we need a little bit of fabric. And you see, like I said, when you use a glue stick, it kind of comes up there. Fabrics. Okay. Now, what do we want to do? Of course, I'm going to pull in some of my Tim Holtz fabric. And let's see. Some of the red, or do we want, no, let's see, if I do green, then I almost feel like it's going to look Christmassy. Some tickets there. Or some stamps. Oh, that's kind of pretty. That's different. Just put a little bit of this here. And how do I want to do this? Fiona was scratching. Let's see. Let me just kind of have that like that. And then I like that. That's all right. I do want to make it a little bit bigger. Maybe, no, I think that's okay. And I'm just going to bring in my stapler and staple this. We are also going to sew around this. So you know what? Do I need to staple? I don't think I'm going to staple because I'm also going to sew around it. So let's just take some glue stick here. And we'll just bring that up like that. And then, oops, I want to turn it so that you can see, yeah, the other side like that. Yeah. Let's just bring that like that. And then we're going to cut these at an angle. Oh, you know what I could do? I haven't used my pinking shears in a long time. Where are they? Here they are. Yeah, these are some fabric pinking shears. Let's just use these. I'm wanting to scrunch this up a little bit more. Maybe, and not make it quite so perfect. When I sew it, that'll help. Let's just take a dab of the Beacons 3-in-1 glue. So yeah, that series 1883, it's really good. I'm really enjoying that. And then when we sew around it, that will be held down a little bit better. Okay. I may have to trim that a little bit more, but okay. Let's move on to the next one and see what either lace or fabric. Now, I could use my green Tim Holtz here. Let's bring in some of this. Ooh, maybe that. Let's just use some of this here. How do we want to do this? Oh, I love that. Love that purple flower. Okay, let's see. Let's just, unfortunately, I'm going to have to trim this like that. We'll save that for another little embellishment or something. I almost think it's too thick. Let's see here. Is that too thick? No, actually it's not. I don't think it's too bad. It's a big old journaling card, so it's got room for a lot. What we want to do is kind of bring that up so that, yeah. Okay, and then on this last one, let's do a bit of lace. Okay, where's my lace drawer? Here it is. Nope. Now it kind of blends in too much. I almost feel like I need some color. Green. It's kind of blues there. No. Oh, you know what? Let's do some of my fuzzy cotton tape. I love that fuzzy cotton tape. Yeah, I love using this stuff. Oh, isn't that cool? Love that. How do I want to do this? Yeah, because when I sew it, yeah, we're just going to do that. Maybe like that. How do I want this to show here. We're just gonna go for it. Let's just glue that on and then kind of bring it down so it's not so perfect. And then I'm gonna go to my machine. I'm gonna scrunch that up a little bit. I'm gonna go to my machine and I'm gonna sew these down. Add some stitching around them. I like stitching. Okay, in between that last little segment, I went and picked my son up from work and we had dinner. We had leftover ham and some potatoes and green beans. And we watched a couple of programs. We watch together, we watch Young Sheldon. And then we also watch, I think it's called Mandy and Georgie's First Marriage, which is a spin-off from the Big Bang Theory and Sheldon. Yeah, we like watching those. So we watched a couple of episodes of that. And yeah, and now he's in his bedroom, kind of hanging out. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to trim that off a little bit. It looks kind of weird to me. I'm just gonna come in here and make this. Yeah. I'm gonna show you what I've been doing with these kinds of things. So I've got the green, like the one, and then let's do some red. This is a border punch. I think this is in my down in the description box under my tools. It's one of my favorite border punches because it works really well. And it's a pretty design. But I border punch both sides. There we go. And then what I've been doing is gluing them on the opposite side of the journaling cards. And I'll show you the journaling cards in a minute. But just again, you've got a lot of room to journal, but then this just kind of helps bring in the front of the card to the back of the card, and it just makes it pretty, I think. You got to be careful a little bit with the glue stick because you'll rip your paper if you're not careful. We're just going to add that there. Oops. Oh no, that's okay. Yeah. And then the red one. Like I said, in just a minute, I will turn these over and show you, because I did sew around them on this one. I think I'm going to bring this up here. There we go. And then I've just got a small piece here, and I think I'm going to do a little bit of punching, like a little corner punch on it. One of my Susan from that was at my retreat, she had a little vacuum, a table vacuum, and she used that a lot at the retreat. And I've been thinking about buying one. I thought she just was like vacuuming away, hoovering away all those little scraps. I may have to get one. It was pretty cool how her desk was always really nice and neat. That one goes here. Yeah, so we can bring this. Where do I want to do it? Yeah, you're still going to have a lot of room to journal, but yeah. Alrighty, well, let's just do a little reveal here of our cards. So here's the one where I did the fuzzy cotton tape around it. I added just a little bit of lace also, and I sewed around it. What I like to do is straight stitching and then a little bit of decorative stitching, straight stitch, little decorative stitch, and then straight stitch. I didn't do any stitching here because it is the border punch, but do you see how then that little bit of paper then ties in the front? And then this one, as I was looking at it with that red fabric, I decided to add a button over the top of it. So I sewed the button, and on this one I did zigzag, straight, zigzag, straight, zigzag. And then again, it has a little bit of the Florentine paper on the back. And then this last one, I did end up adding on top of the kind of a greenish fabric, the Tim Holtz fabric, I did add some vintage or antique lace over the top of it. And again, a little decorative sewing here, straight, decorative. And I like to use it's a kind of a gold colored thread. And then again, that Florentine paper on the back. And then I'm going to show you a couple that I did where these were images from a French magazine, but these are antique combs, and these are big journaling cards. I have a little bit of lace there. Again, it's on the Florentine paper, a big label up there. And then here's another one with pictures of the combs. And I just bunched up a little bit of lace there, added this gold doubled circle that I had run through an embossing machine, one of Rachel's labels down there that I turned it over. And here my sewing was messing up, but again, it just, I don't know, doesn't look all that bad. When everything is kind of messy, when you have a little messiness, it doesn't look bad. It looks almost purposeful. Kind of messed up the sewing there, but still, it's okay. And then this big one here, I don't know what this was, but I just added a little bit of French book page there, a little tag with a little, I don't know, metal thing on the top of it, some gold fabric down the side, and then on the back side, some of Rachel's straw paper, and then again, some of the Florentine paper there. So anyway, that is my makes for today, just kind of getting ready for my feminine French journal. And I hope this gave you some inspiration and some ideas to pull images and stuff from these kinds of books and magazines that you might have. I've got lots of them. So you can pull those images from there and just layer them up. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you on Thursday for Quick Tip Thursday. Thanks and bye-bye.